What just happened? Merab Dvalishvili versus Sean O'Malley 2 has just wrapped up, and this one did not go like the first one, but the same man ended up getting his hand raised as Merab is still the bantamweight champ, this time getting the finish against Sean, and he just put on a clinical performance. So we need to talk about Merab versus O'Malley 2.
But before we get into that, we're Punch Talk and are bringing you guys daily combat sports videos, so if you enjoy the content, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to help support the channel. And right off the bat, what a fighter Merab Dvalishvili is, just cementing an incredible career for himself right away and very arguably taking the claim as the greatest bantamweight champion of all time. After beating Sean for a second time, he's just on an incredible winning streak, beating the likes of Marlon Moraes, Jose Aldo, Piotr Yan, Henry Cejudo, O'Malley twice, and Umar Nurmagomedov. It's just been a crazy run for him to the title, and as well him defending the belt against very high level guys, and he's just showed with his incredible skill set, weaponizing that cardio, the pressure, even having some unique strikes with the overhands, but they're still effective and they lean into his wrestling as well. He's just been too much for anyone to handle, and coming into the second Sean O'Malley fight, it was going to be an interest to see how O'Malley was going to adjust. Many were saying this was very undeserved for O'Malley considering he hasn't even fought since their first fight and gotten any wins since, but regardless, the fight was happening. Sean was saying he was making the adjustments, he was taking the camp a lot more serious, so there was real questions to see if he could have more success, and in the first round we were seeing him throw a lot more already than their first fight and had a few more moments of success where he was able to land, but after that we just saw Merab put on an even more dominating performance than their first fight, just relentlessly pushing the pace against O'Malley and consistently backing him up, using the striking to get him against the cage where he likes to go for his takedowns. And even though Sean was having a lot of early success defending a lot of takedowns, we know how Merab rolls. He's very relentless. He doesn't get discouraged at all if he isn't able to get 1, 2, 3 or even up to 5 takedowns in a row. He keeps on going, and that's what we saw. Eventually he was able to take him down, and as early as the second round we saw the tides of the fight change drastically.
Yeah, we definitely did see adjustments from Sean O'Malley, actually having a lot of success at defending the takedowns, but that came at a cost as he was kind of getting clipped on the feet from Merab a little bit more than even in the first fight. Even though he was letting his hands go a little bit more, it wasn't like he went for broke at any time. He was still moving laterally up against the fence, and in that third round we really just saw a disaster. Merab picks him up, slams him down, and Sean does everything he can to work his way back up. He ends up almost getting there, but then just the relentlessness of Merab, he gets Sean down again and just continues to pursue different submissions, even which you don't usually see from Merab, really pursuing the submissions. He's usually just about controlling you, roughing you up, exhausting you, the ground and pound, or just simply control time as he's done to so many different people, but instead he was chasing the submissions and ends up locking in the Darce choke, finishing Sean O'Malley and putting a stamp on what was probably an undeserved rematch, but leaving no doubt nonetheless. It is just wild how much of a beast Merab is. He is literally a machine. He doesn't stop. He's relentless no matter who his opponent is, and we gotta start having the conversations of him being one of, if not the greatest bantamweight of all time. His legacy is really starting to build now, and he just broke Sean O'Malley. This loss has to be so demoralizing for Sean, and now the rebuild is gonna be that much harder. Losing to the same guy twice, nonetheless a tough stylistic matchup in a guy like Merab who's good everywhere, is well-rounded, and has this freakish cardio, a lung capacity like no other, can just go all day. It seemed like he cut out all the distractions, was purely focused on this fight, didn't do much interviews, didn't do much media, didn't even dye his hair. That's how locked in he was. Stop jaying the peen, as he said in his own words, and still it wasn't even close to enough. In fact, it was even worse as he got finished this time, so it's gonna be tough for Sean going forward here.
And now the question really stands, who is possibly next for Merab? He's just been dominating so many high-level guys. So who can even really have a chance to take this belt away from him? And it seems like the UFC is pushing towards that Corey Sandhagen fight. Sandhagen's been on a win streak himself, beating the likes of Figueiredo and as well Song Yadong. He did also lose to Umar recently, but it would still be a fresh face for Merab to fight considering he's beaten most of the guys in the division already. And honestly, it shouldn't really make sense that Umar gets a rematch right away, even how close the fight and how great the fight was. People were also trying to claim that him getting that first shot was undeserving, so I think it would make sense for him to at least get one high level or maybe two high level fights before getting that rematch. But it honestly just looks like Merab is unstoppable. He's named the machine for a reason. 13 fight winning streak. He just looks unbeatable. And with main criticisms of him not being able to get finishes and just going to decisions, now with him improving upon his first performance against Sean and submitting him fairly easily in the third round, he's just been doing incredible and historic things within the sport. But for O'Malley, it's definitely very tough to say where he's going to go from here. He's kind of in an odd position where he's still fairly young in this division and has a long career ahead of him. He said he wants to keep on fighting till he's 37, 38 even, but currently he's definitely going to have to build his way back up there. And with there being some killers in here who definitely have very strong wrestling, it's going to be tough to say if he's really going to be able to climb back for another title shot. He does have the name and the popularity, and definitely seems like the UFC are willing to give him an easy title shot, but especially after getting another one and getting choked out, he's going to have to climb his way from here.
Yeah, O'Malley's definitely in a pretty weird position because he kind of just got rushed back into the title shot. It's not like he had a rebuild process after losing to Merab. It's not like he got some wins. It's not like he had some warm-up fights. It's not like he fought anyone else in between. He literally just took time off, healed from injuries, rested. Meanwhile, Merab was running through the division and the boogeyman and Umar Nurmagomedov, so he's definitely going to have to work his way back up. There are still some very intriguing matchups out there for Sean O'Malley. That Peter Yan rematch, definitely one that could be made for a potential 5-rounder. It seems like Yan is now fighting Marcus McGee, which is pretty random matchmaking, but if Yan does get past him, like most think that he will, that rematch makes sense. There's Umar Nurmagomedov out there in the division, but like you said, definitely killer's row. Definitely a very, very tough division to be the champion in, especially with a guy like Merab, who's so dominant at the top, who's beat all these guys already and is pretty much lapping the division, lapped Sean O'Malley already, now has wins against pretty much the entire top of the division besides the Corey Sandhagen, Song Yadong. So that Corey fight does make sense for Merab, and Merab's going to continue doing his thing. Specifically though for O'Malley, it's definitely tough. Will he be able to become a bantamweight champion again? I don't really know. Honestly, if you're asking me, I'd say it's possible that he could even be looking at a run at featherweight. A former opponent of his in Aljamain Sterling is in the top 10 of the featherweight rankings, and he's looking to climb his way through featherweight. Will Sean O'Malley want to follow in those footsteps, kind of do the same thing? Who knows at this point? He's definitely a big star for the promotion at least, and he draws in this casual fan base. I still think he is going to be a pretty solid relative draw no matter who he fights. Probably not as much considering he's no longer the champion and maybe not even the #1 contender, so it's going to be tough to rebuild from here. He definitely looked pretty gutted and pretty disappointed. You gotta imagine losing to the same guy twice in a row after being the champion, after holding gold. He knows it's not going to be an easy road back to the title, even though so far the UFC seems to have been doing everything they can to get O'Malley the best path possible to the title, and even getting that immediate rematch when he did nothing in between that first Merab fight. But there really isn't really many people for Merab to fight even in the bantamweight division anymore. So let us know your thoughts in the comments down below. What's next for Sean? What's next for Merab? But if you guys enjoyed and want to see more MMA content, check out how every UFC champion got beat on screen now.